Howdy folks, Todd here with Great Escape Farms. Today I am talking chickens and how we raise them here on Great Escape Farms. So this board was put together to help with some of the tours we do around here, and it's great to start a video with. So we start off in a brooder, which is a 100-gallon stock tank that we keep in the restroom of our garage. And we do that because it's a small room, allows us to heat it and keep it above 40 degrees. And then we have a heat lamp, which will make it to the right temperature for the chickies inside. We are high tech in that we have IP cameras in to look at the water and the food level of the chicks, as well as a camera looking down on them so we can see where they are located. If they are gathered right underneath the heat lamp, they are too cold. If they are pushed as far away from the heat lamp as they can be, then I know that it's too hot, and we can adjust the level of the heat lamp based on that. After they feather out, which is about 4 weeks, then they move to the chicken tractor, and the chicken tractor is actually right over here. The chicken tractor is a chicken coop on wheels. And this is a little closer view of the chicken tractor. It is a John Siskovich style chicken tractor. I bought the plans for it online from John Siskovich, and he got the money for that. It's his design with some modifications that I did. John does his for meat chickens. I do mine for layers. So I have roost poles, and I don't have them in yet, but I have bedding in places for them to start laying eggs. And I have several different things for my girls here to get them used to moving on to their future spot. It has hardware cloth entirely around everything above ground. So this is 1/2-inch hardware cloth, so no predators can get in and get at them. I have a tarp over top to give them shade, and I have electric fence wire 6 inches out and 6 inches down that moves with the chicken tractor when it moves, and it is connected up to a battery powered solar charge controller, which is laying down right there, and it will put up to 9,000 volts, 1.5 joule across the bottom here. So if anything tries to get in and dig under, again, it's 6 inches off the ground, 6 inches out. So anything that's going to dig and actually do any harm to the chickens, it would hit that level and it would deter them and drive them away. This is our 3rd batch in here, and we have never had any predator ever successfully harm any of the chickens. So we are very fortunate in that. In here, we have their food and their water hanging. We have a dirt bath for them, and you can't see it, but behind this little wind protection here is a bowl of grit for them. And back on the backside, what makes it a chicken tractor are these wheels here, which are still on, raises us off the ground a little. When the wheels are off, it drops it down so we are even with the ground there. The chicken tractor allows us to move it. These girls get moved at this age once a day. And in another week or two, we will put electro fence around them, around the entire coop here, and let them out and get them used to free ranging. So they're quasi free ranging right now inside the chicken tractor, but they actually will free range here once they're big enough to not fit through the electro net. So when I first put them in here, when they first come out of the garage, out of the brooder, they get moved about twice a week. Right now, with their eating and pooping habits, I have to move them once a day. So by putting the electronet fence around, it allows me to leave the chicken tractor itself in a spot for a little bit longer. So we move the chicken tractor around the yard throughout the summer and into the fall. Somewhere between Halloween and Thanksgiving, the girls will actually move from the chicken tractor to the coop and run. So the coop and run is this building right here. It is, let me talk about the coop. So the coop is just on this section right here. It is raised off the ground. It is 8 foot wide by 6 foot long, and there are 3 roost poles in there. We can house up to 40 chickens in there. We generally try to keep it right around 20, just so there's plenty of room. Has nest boxes in there for them. They are very happily go in and go to bed at night. And the only time they actually stay in the run area, which is the entire length of that underneath of their coop, and everywhere else is 8 foot wide by 20 foot long. The only time they stay in there is when the ground is completely frozen and we have ice and snow, which is maybe 2 weeks a year, or if we have a hawk in the general area and I can't stay out with them. So hawk won't attack if I'm out in the yard, but if I step away for a little while and I'm out of sight, we could end up with a hawk attack. And sometimes they have, mainly going after the guineas. So if we have one that is actively stalking our birds, then we'll leave them in the run for a little while until I'm actually out and working in the yard, which usually I am every day, but sometimes I'm inside. So other than them being in there for a couple of times a year, they are in their free range area, which is a 200 yard or 200 foot by 35 foot area. And we have, again, the windmill over there for predator protection. We have these shiny flap things here, which between the windmill and the straps, whatever these things are called right here, they have kept the hawks away. We haven't had any attacks or landings since then. We did try scarecrows, and I swear if we hadn't done the other things, I think the scarecrow would have eventually just landed right on the shoulder of the scarecrows. Those did not help at all. In this free range area, we have plantings. So we have elderberry on the upper row, and then in the center row we have mulberry, and then we have European elderberry on the bottom row, and those will eventually grow big enough and drop berries, and the leftover berries that we don't harvest, the girls will get, so they will very much enjoy that. If you notice, we have little circle fences around each one, and that is because they love to dig in fresh soil, and I have fresh soil and mulch around there, so I have to do that just to keep them from digging. I'm not worried about them picking on the plants. And I do believe that's it. Oh, one other thing I want to point out, I am doing an experiment right there on the upper terraced bed. I am growing chicken food. So I have 7 different types of grains that I'm growing up there, growing for the seed. And once I harvest the grain, then I'll toss the actual plant itself over in the chicken coop or in the chicken run area here and let them munch on that. So I am doing a separate YouTube video on that, so you can check that out on the channel. It'll be coming out probably in the fall of 2023 or winter of 2023 or 24, once I get actual results on what that is and hopefully figure out what the protein mix is. So this is how our chickens live on Great Escape Farms. And by the way, these girls are layers only. We do not do them for meat birds, and my wife has named a number of these chickens, so yes, they become pets when they do stop laying, and they will be here with us for hopefully a long time. Thank you very much and have a great day.